The next game we're going to talk about is Monday Night Football. The Bengals and the Steelers. Now, the Steelers, they started out 11-0, and then they lost to the Washington football team. And they haven't been doing very well ever since that game. And JuJu Smith-Schuster, their star wide receiver, and, he is a good wide receiver. I wouldn't say he's the most amazing wide receiver of all time. Maybe not necessarily even a number one wide receiver on a roster. But JuJu, great athletic ability, all that. He's a bit of a social media person type guy. And he's been doing TikTok dances on opposing teams' logos. Now, this came into question a couple of weeks ago. People not liking that, especially because he looks like an absolute idiot when he does it, and he's losing. Now, he looks like an absolute idiot. He does. He looks like a dumbass. JuJu needs to cool down on this. And prior to this Bengals game, what did he do? He danced on the logo. He had a message on his TikTok that said people didn't want him to be him, something to that effect, and that he was going to keep dancing anyways. Well, this all massively backfired to the delight of many memers and fans of the NFL in general, and people who respect not dancing on other teams' logos prior to the game. Now, if you want to do it after the game, you won. It's not the most respectful thing ever, but hey, you won the game. You can do it. You've earned the right kind of to do that. You beat down that team, so you want to beat down the team even more by doing your stupid little TikTok dance. And if JuJu wants to do that, that's fine. Prior to the game, though, you just look like a complete idiot, especially when you get killed by the 2-win Bengals, who don't even have their number one overall pick, Joe Burrow, great quarterback who's been injured. Instead, they have 4th-round pick out of NC State from last year, who wasn't good enough to replace Andy Dalton, so they had to bring in another quarterback in Burrow, who was way better than Ryan Finley. But Finley, a 4th-round pick, comes in. He throws for 89 yards. 89 yards, and he still kills you. The so-called possibly going undefeated Steelers that we were all talking about, Steelers fans overhyping this, this Steelers team is amazing, despite them having a cakewalk of a schedule prior to week 12 when they got beat down by a Washington football team that's not even that great, but they do have a good defense, but quarterback play and all that in their offense isn't necessarily star-studded. Still got beat by them. And then they come in here and they got beat by the Bengals. 27-17. 10 points. 10 points. 2-possession game. Not even a 1-possession game. Not like it was a close game or anything. They got beat by 2 possessions. With Ryan Finley. I can't get over this. Ryan Finley throwing for 89 yards. He had some, I think he had around 40-something rushing yards, so he did good to that effect. And he was 13 passes only, 7 completions. Overall, had a pretty good game, was commanding of the Bengals offense. And, I mean, good for Ryan Finley. He looked nice. Giovanni Bernard had 25 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown, 3.3 yards per carry, which is kind of ugly, but this got them the win against the Steelers. Anyways, back to JuJu making himself looking out like an absolute idiot. JuJu had 3 receptions for 15 yards the entire game. So a horrible performance. It's 5 yards per reception for people that don't like quick math. But he had 3 receptions for 15 yards. At the early stages of the game, JuJu catches a pass, gets absolutely lit up by Von Bell, and fumbles the ball. Now, this was amazing. Even if the Steelers won this game, this would still be insult to injury on JuJu for dancing on the field, the logo. I mean, what do you expect, JuJu, when you dance on opposing team's logo? You're gonna get laid out. You're gonna get laid out by any team that respects themselves and their logo are going to want to hurt you for doing something like that. You put the target on your back. That's your fault, JuJu. That's your fault. You're putting your stupid TikTok dances above your own team. Above your own team. It doesn't seem like your head's in the right place. It seems like you are like too focused on, oh, it's my right to do my TikTok dances on your opposing logo, instead of actually focusing on the game, where you only get 15 yards on 3 receptions, you get beat by the Bengals, and you get absolutely drilled because of your stupid TikTok dances. Can you stop? Like, have you learned your lesson already? The world's trying to tell you something. Stop dancing on the damn logos. You look like an a-hole. You do. And, you're a good player. I'm not going to take that away. But you're looking like an idiot. Anybody who's not a Steelers fan absolutely despises you. Even people that have no hatred towards the Steelers at all hate you. The only people that are liking you right now are people that follow all your social media stuff. You just seem too consumed with social media. And I know you're a fun guy and all of that, and you seem like you're a nice guy, but you got to stop. You got to learn your lesson here. You got to stop. And Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers, seemed to agree with me on this point. He finally said after the game, he said he was going to talk about JuJu, about dancing on the logos. He said it's all about respect. And yes, it is. It's all about respect. You have to respect your opponent out there. And even if you don't want to respect your opponent, if you want to be the bad boys, which honestly, TikTok dancing isn't the way to get there, but nonetheless, if you want to, strike insult into your opponents, do it after you beat them. Beat them, have that be the insult to them. Beat that team. Show them that you're the better overall football team. Insult them by being better at the game than them and beating them into the ground. And then you can go dance on the logo. That's when you celebrate. You don't celebrate pregame. Who celebrates pregame? You don't lift the Lombardi trophy before the game's played. You don't do that. You don't dance on the logo before the game's over. If you like dancing on logos, dance on the logo after the game, after you win. Before the game, you look like an idiot. If you lost the game and you dance on the logo after the game, you look like an idiot. But if you win and you dance on the logo, hey, maybe we're like, hey, you're dancing on the logo after the game. You're insulting the team, and you're just showing that you're better than them, and you're spitting in their face. It might not be the most respectful thing, but it's more. I think you'd get more respect kind of from it, even though you wouldn't get as much than dancing on the logo prior to the game. So if you want to keep dancing on the logo, maybe take that approach. It won't be as loved as much, but try to take that one. That's what I'd say. And overall, I mean, it's about respect, as Tomlin said. I hope Tomlin beat some sense into him at this point, because JuJu just can't seem to figure this one out. And I hope that he can figure it out, because he might not be looking to appealing to other teams heading into his free agency. So that's just my words of advice for JuJu Smith-Schuster. I'd like to see how you guys think about that. Think about this situation. You can tweet at me at Sports Report Po1 if you want to. But yeah, just disappointing series of events there. And I do think it's funny that they are losing this bad after JuJu's been dancing on people's logos and talking smack and stuff. It is funny. Even if you're a Steelers fan, come on now. If this was another team and you were looking at them, it's funny. it's funny, and I feel bad for Steelers fans for being deceived into thinking that this team was maybe better than they actually are, since they just lost to a Bengals team that's essentially going to end up picking in the top 5. So, and also doesn't have their best player on the field. That too.